A unit rate is a special kind of ratio that compares two quantities measured in different units. For example, when we say miles per hour, we are talking about the rate of speed a car is going. It's a ratio of miles to hours. A unit rate is a rate whose denominator is 1. To find the unit rate, you put the ratio in fraction form and simply divide. The top dog goes in the house. The answer is your unit rate, meaning the denominator is now 1. Why unit rate? Well, you never hear anyone say that car was going 100 miles per 5 hours. We're interested in getting the answer down to per hour, per 1 hour, which is a unit rate. During exercise, River's heart beats 675 times in 5 minutes. How many times does it beat per minute? So in other words, what is the unit rate? So we're going to set up a ratio with beats over minutes and simply divide it out. So the answer is 135 beats per minute. And notice how we have the two labels now, beats per minute. Daniel's family wants to drive the 288 miles to Ruby Falls in 6 hours. What should their average speed be in miles per hour? So we want miles on top and hours on bottom. So in other words, we want to know what is their unit rate. We set up the ratio as 288 miles over 6 hours, and then you simply divide. And the answer is 48 miles per hour, and you can abbreviate that as 48 mph. River works for PetSmart. She worked 15 hours last week and earned $112.50. At that rate, how much will she earn if she works for 10 hours? So the first thing that we have to do is we have to find, when it says at that rate, we have to find out what that rate is. How much does she earn per hour? Money is always going to go on top, so we simply divide money over hours and to find out how much she makes per 1 hour. So the unit rate is $7.50 per hour. Whatever you want to know one of, that's the unit that goes on bottom. So now that we know that she makes $7.50 per hour, how much does she earn if she works 10 hours? So you simply multiply $7.50 times 10, and you get that she earns $75. And that would be your final answer. A Ferris wheel revolves, that means goes around in a circle, 35 times in 105 minutes. How many minutes does one revolution take? Now remember, we want to know the unit rate, and whatever that is, that's 1 in the denominator. So revolutions is going to go on bottom because that's what we want to know one of. Minutes is going to go on top. So we have 105 over 35, and when we divide that out, we get 3. So 3 minutes per 1 revolution, or 3 minutes per revolution would be your answer. Just be careful because you have to set up your ratio correctly. Whatever you want to know one of, that's the unit that should go on bottom. To make 4 large pizza pockets, Rook needs 14 cups of broccoli. How much broccoli does he need for 1 large pizza pocket? Okay, what do we want to know one of? That's what's going to go on bottom. So we're dealing with pizza pockets and we're dealing with cups of broccoli. We want to know 1 Pizza Pockets. So that's how we know that Pizza Pockets goes on bottom and then Cups of Broccoli would go on top. So we simply divide it out. And when we do, 14 divided by 4, you should get 3.5 cups of broccoli per pizza pocket. You can say 3.5 or 3.5. 1 lap around the path in the park is 1/3 of a mile. It takes Mrs. Daniels 1/9 of an hour to walk Rook 1 lap. What is her unit rate around the park? Whenever we're dealing with miles and hours, our unit rate is always going to be in miles per hour. So miles will go on top and hours will go on bottom. Now, if you notice, there's 2 different fractions, and that's okay. We simply make a complex fraction, and then we divide it out. 1/3 divided by 1/9, and then you're going to keep, change, flip. And you get your final answer of 3 miles per hour. River hikes 1/2 of a mile every 1/4 of an hour. Rook hikes 1/3 of a mile every 1/6 of an hour. Who walks further in 1 hour? So again, we're going to set up our ratios as miles over hours. And then we're going to compare. So when you set up your unit rate for River and Rook, you have 2 complex fractions that you'll need to solve. You'll need to solve each one by doing keep, change, flip. So if you notice, when you solve the complex fractions for each one, you get that they both have the same exact unit rate. So they actually both walk 2 miles per hour. So they're hiking at the same speed. While remodeling her kitchen, Lila paints the cabinets. She estimates that she paints 30 square feet every ½ hour. At this rate, which we need to figure out what that rate is, how many square feet can she expect to have painted after 3 hours? So the first thing that we need to do is figure out what her unit rate is. She does 30 feet. She does 30 feet every ½ hour. This is a complex fraction that we're also going to have to do keep, change, flip. Once you do keep, change, flip, you end up with her unit rate being 60 square feet per hour. So after 3 hours, 60 times 3 means that she could have expected to paint 180 square feet. AJ's room is 12 feet long by 9 feet wide. The carpet he wants to put in the room costs $4.50 per square foot. How much will it cost him to carpet his room? Well, first of all, we need to figure out how big his room is. So we need to calculate the area. The area of his room is going to be 12 feet times 9 feet. And 12 times 9 is 108 square feet. Now we know that we have 108 square feet in his room, and we know that each square foot costs $4.50. So we're going to multiply $4.50 times 108 to get our answer. And that answer is $486. So make sure when you're doing your homework that you set up your ratios correctly. Do it with words first to make sure that what's going on top should go on top, and make sure that what's going on bottom should go on bottom. Remember, whatever you want to know one of, that's the unit that needs to go on the bottom.